Every evening before nightfall, the man would anxiously wait for his son to return home. If the boy was even a minute late, he would erupt into a storm of angry scolding. Once they hurriedly ran back to the house together, the man would lock every door and window, double and triple checking to make sure nothing was left unsecured. Only when the house was sealed tight, with no cracks or openings, could the family finally sit down for dinner in relative peace. They had to take these precautions because, after dark, the world outside no longer belonged to humans. But just as they were beginning to relax that night, a loud banging sound suddenly came from the door. Something, or someone, was trying to force its way inside. Startled, the family rushed downstairs, pressing their weight against the door with all their might to keep it shut. Thankfully, the noises stopped after a tense few moments. Believing they had survived another close call, the family went to bed, relieved. Yet in the middle of the night, as they slept soundly, a bony, withered hand pried loose one of the wooden planks on the door. A dry, skeletal arm reached through the gap, and before long, the creature managed to open the door and step inside. Just then, the boy woke up and instinctively hit a switch. It turned out they had anticipated the creature's intrusion and had set a trap. By morning, claw marks were gouged deep into the door, rendering it unusable. Realizing the door was beyond repair, the family decided they had no choice but to venture out to find materials to fix it. The three of them piled into the car and set off, leaving Cage behind to work on repairs at home. Cage instructed his two sons to gather supplies, but as soon as they entered the forest, the elder brother suggested they split up to cover more ground. Although it was a risky move, it increased their chances of finding what they needed. As long as they regrouped before nightfall, they figured they'd be safe. However, the elder son had other plans. Instead of searching, he visited a nearby village to meet his girlfriend. They embraced passionately, oblivious to the danger his brother might be facing alone. As dusk began to fall, the elder son finally bid his girlfriend farewell and hurried back. But in his rush, he slipped and fell into a deep pit. Meanwhile, his younger brother, frantically searching the forest, arrived at their designated meeting spot. When the elder brother failed to show, he assumed he must have returned home early. Driving back, he was horrified to learn from Cage that his brother had not come back at all. Left with no choice, Cage grabbed a torch and headed into the dark to search for his son. At the same time, the elder brother awoke at the bottom of the pit, disoriented and sore. Realizing he was trapped at least 30 feet below ground, he lit a small fire to assess his surroundings, only to find a grotesque creature staring back at him. Just as the creature lunged, Cage arrived, jumping into the pit and managing to kill it in a desperate struggle. With the immediate danger gone, the two decided to stay in the pit until morning, knowing the surface was too perilous at night. But as they rested, the ground beneath them began to collapse. Cage realized with horror that something massive was stirring underground. Fortunately, he had brought a bundle of explosives. Acting quickly, he lit the fuse, blowing the emerging creature to pieces and stabilizing the ground, at least for now. When dawn broke, the younger brother set out in the car to search for them. About 10 miles from home, he found Cage lying unconscious on the ground, battered but alive.